you've never been at 300 with two doctors, and
That's
then
right.
you lost almost half your patient base. And then within the course of roughly about you hit it on your third month, you lost almost half your patient base with a two doctor office. You went to a one doctor office, and then you actually hit higher numbers than you ever had before, even with a two doctor office.
Which is a major blessing.
So, hey everyone, this is Casey Carroll with Action Advertising Agency, and I'm sitting here with Dr. Dillon Crawford, who's over in Bentonville, Arkansas. And we've actually been working with him now for about 4 months, but I wanted to his story so far has been nothing short of miraculous in some ways. So I really wanted to get him on video today and kind of share his story and just kind of explain what his experience was like working with us for over the last couple of months. So Dr. Crawford, appreciate you chatting with me today.
Hey man, I'm glad to be here. So actually we've been, one of the ways we've grown our practice was through social media. And so we've used some other individuals in the past, and we've had great results. It brought us up to a certain level. But realistically, what kind of really pulled me over to you guys was all of the extra that kind of came along with it. The better tracking with some of those numbers, right? I really enjoy kind of the report card, being able to kind of track those things. You guys are constantly also looking at, okay, where could the holes in the boat be? I feel like you guys are really here to kind of support the practice and continue to help us to grow to that next level. But sometimes with our other people that we worked with in the past, the ads kind of got stale. You know what I mean? They kind of puttered out after a while, and there wasn't as much trying to game plan and work together to see, okay, what can we do better to get more people there to make sure that we can help to continue to grow and get y'all's exposure out and get that brand out, right? And so that was one big thing that really kind of sold me to move over to you guys and let you guys try out. And honestly, so far it's been doing really darn good. Leads are coming in pretty consistently, even with weird changes going on with Facebook and whatnot. Every now and then, you guys are still working really hard, working with the ads. I do really like the training material that comes along for the chiropractic assistants and our front desk. I think that them having that information has actually empowered them to be able to get more patients on schedule and to get into communication with them. And it's really just based on y'all's experience on how can we keep more people that are coming in on these lead sheets to get them into the office, right? Yeah. And honestly, I think that's where the biggest thing was falling off with some of the other things. Not saying that they were, terrible, right? Yeah. But realistically, I think that what you guys are offering brings it up to that next level. And that's one reason why I really like working with you guys.
Yeah. And so for everyone who's watching, actually, we got connected because one of our former clients actually sold his practice to your partner. And initially at one point, your location in Bentonville was two different doctors at the exact same time. And then you bought the practice in Rogers, which is like, 10 miles away, roughly, some give or take. So you guys kind of like created another office location by buying that other practice. But the doctor who was selling you that practice, you're like, hey, we're gonna go with the same exact advertising. Everything you've done has been working extremely well, so we're gonna do the exact same thing. And then you were with another advertising agency at the time, and then the former client who decided to sell to you was like, you gotta give A3 a try. You've really got to give us a shot. And I know you're kind of on the fence at one point too. You're kind of like, it's working for us, everything's good and everything. Are you happy you kind of made that decision though now at this point?
Yeah, Dr. Elder and I, we started this practice almost I think 7 years ago in September, and even at the beginning of social media, we were just like, I don't know, is it going to work out or not? And it started working out pretty well as time had gone on. But, Dr. Elder and I, we're really loyal. And so if something's working, why try to fix it if it's working? Yeah. Right. Yeah. But realistically, when our friend who ended up, we've been friends with Brian for a while, and he ended up selling his practice, which he built a brilliant, beautiful practice, which is great. And so we wanted to be able to make sure that we were congruent in both locations, Rogers and Bentonville, and continue to be able to help people and serve people. And so we went from a 2-doctor office to a 1-doctor office. And so Dr. Elder moved over to our other location at Rogers, picked directly up. And so we decided, you know what? We're going to go ahead and make the change and see how it goes. And so far, it's been doing great. We just recently broke into the 300s, which we didn't do before we were a 2-doctor office. And so that's actually really pretty dang cool to see. And honestly, we're only 4 months in. So I'm actually excited to see what 12 months is going to look like.
Yeah. Now I want to talk about that a little bit because that is really interesting. I mean, like you basically you were kind of in like the 270s or so, like the month before you started up with us. But then when you started up with us was when the other Dr. Elder opened up or went to the other practice. And then when you did that, he took like 70 total patients from you at the time.
Right.
And you guys were kind of dividing things like down the middle, basically. So you ended up, you've never been in the 300s, even when it was a two
doctor. That's right. And so basically what happened is both of us were taking care of patients, and there's about 70 patients, combination of wellness patients and a couple that were on treatment plans still, that lived closer to the Rogers location. Mm-hmm. And something that we've learned in this area, because we live in an area that's pretty heavily concentrated with chiropractors, is that proximity is the key for a lot of these patients and keeping them on their treatment plan to get the results that they're looking for, right? And then doctor second. And so they may really like you, but if they have to drive 30 minutes to go and see you, they're probably not going to be as compliant to the individual that's 2 minutes down the road. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so we had 70 patients that moved over from our Bentonville location to Rogers. And so what we did is we saw that drop down in those numbers for about a month or two. Yeah. And then after about the third and fourth month, we started trending back up, and we just broke into those 300s for the first time that Bentonville has seen since we opened up, which is pretty awesome.
You've never been at 300 with 2 doctors, and then you lost almost half your patient base. And then within the course of roughly about you hit it on your 3rd month, you lost almost half your patient base with a 2 doctor office. You went to a 1 doctor office, and then you actually hit higher numbers than you ever had before, even with a 2 doctor office,
which is a pretty major blessing.
Now with that said, like, I know that you've also made a lot of other changes. You joined Dr. Corey's Winner's Edge Practice Management Group, which I highly recommend. Huge. I know that he played a big role as well with like also helping with that. But even though we're technically a Facebook advertising agency, you've also worked with other advertising agencies before and such. Right. How much of that do you think had to do with like how we approach advertising, or how we approach our advertising product differently compared to what you've been through previously with a different agency?
So something that I noticed with the previous agencies that we worked with in the past is we are still, from the first day that they went ahead and do it 6 months down the road, we're still using the exact same ad, the exact same information, the exact same everything across the board. We're not also trying to game plan and watch, okay, are those numbers actually increasing? Are they starting to putter out? Is it starting to get stale? Do we need to hit a different demographic, right? Mm-hmm. But I noticed with you guys that there's multiple different areas that you guys are hitting, targeting those areas that have the greatest outcome for bringing in that lead generation. Mm-hmm. And that's been pretty significant. Also, the communication for my chiropractic assistants at front desk. The training material is pretty on point, and it has helped immensely, especially with training new people. Mm. And unfortunately, since COVID, for whatever reason, it is harder to staff people since after COVID. And I see that a lot of doctors are having that issue, but having that information for the people to communicate with them through text or through phone, or communicate multiple different times, and having the information already there, it really empowers them to be able to get those patients on the schedule. And if they get in the schedule and they come in our door, there's a really good chance that they're going to start care with us. Yeah. And so I think that's honestly been one of the biggest things. Also, we didn't really have monthly meetings with our previous marketing people. Okay. So it's like, well, how do you know what's going on if we're not in communication as well and trying to work together? I feel like we're more of a team in this aspect, and then somebody that's just kind of working in the background and doing some other things. It's not actually trying to help us grow the practice, get more patients in to experience chiropractic care.
Yeah. What's interesting too, of course, I've never been a chiropractor, so I don't know. I've never hired any other agencies before, so I have no idea like what the experience is actually like. All I know is everything that we built, all of our systems, all of our training, all of our reporting around like the report card, even the belt system, all that stuff that we've kind of created, all that sort of stuff was all really built more around the challenges that we saw internally. So I don't even know like what other kinds of agencies even give around training. Like, so you were never given any kind of training with any other agencies around how to handle leads or schedule or anything?
Nothing. And actually, we didn't even have any recommendations on certain types of promotions or anything to add. We actually, we basically did everything ourselves, and they basically just did the labor to put it up out there. Okay. Got it. So we're like, okay, well, this is what we're seeing in our area. This is what people are running. Previously, we ran like a $21 new patient exam. but it didn't cover really anything else. And it did okay for a while. We had a lot of new patients for those 3 or 4 months, but there's no sustainability long term. We saw that there were maybe some months where, hey, we may bring in 15 or 20 new patients that start care. And then other months it was 7. And so that ROI was kind of up and down for a long period of time, started to cause a little bit of issues during those slower times where I've noticed with you guys, it's always kind of game planning. Okay, this is what we're seeing. Also, something that I really liked too on our last call is that a recommendation that I didn't see is that I had one of my front desk individuals, they were calling at a certain time, and we kind of brought up to the conclusion that, hey, I noticed that if you guys are calling about 10:30, 10 to that 10:30, we're not getting very many people to answer the phone. But there's 7 people in a row here that about 11:15 to 11:20, somewhere in that ballpark range, we're hitting almost every single time. So let's make sure that we're kind of looking at that time period to see that we can generate more people and get more people into the door. And honestly, since I've been able to bring that up to my staff, it's been able to improve our leads and our quality of getting these people in. So I've been very happy with it.
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, no, that's fantastic too. So, I guess, from one final question here that I have is, for everyone who's watching this video who maybe has never heard about us before, maybe has been with other agencies and thinks, oh man, they're all going to be the same, or, has maybe even never worked with an agency before and they're not really sure if they should give us a shot, if we're the real deal, if we are who we say that we are. What would you say to those doctors maybe who are looking at this, maybe not sure if we're actually the real deal or on the fence or anything like that?
I totally understand where they're coming from. I mean, all the chiropractic groups, you hear horror stories about different types of things going on, right? But realistically, just like you have good doctors and bad doctors in all professions, you have great marketing agencies and you have bad marketing agencies, okay? And so, yes, there may be some of those people out there that are horror stories, but honestly, if you are not looking at doing social media marketing and trying to get out there and cast that wider net, you are doing yourself a disservice. And honestly, I've been really happy with the quality of service that you guys have offered us. And so they definitely need to at least give them a try, see what they can do. And you know what? I guarantee that they're going to be able to get more people in the door, more exposure for their brand, and reach more people in their community.
Yeah, no, hey, I appreciate you saying that as well. And, also I will say too, your willingness to be able to test a different offer, for example, or maybe an offer that was lower than what you had previously as well. Your willingness to do that also went a long way in us being able to attract a different audience that had stopped seeing your ads because there was offer fatigue in your ads as well, so. For sure. So no, I definitely appreciate that. And hey, for everyone who's watching here, if you would like to get results, potentially similar to Dr. Crawford, of course, I can't promise anything, but we have a long track record of doing this. And, if you want to get results like him, then give us a holler as well. So I appreciate you chatting with me today, Dr. Crawford. And thanks again for your time.
Anytime, man. It's my pleasure.
Thanks.